Yo, so here's my first impression of Valorant. It absolutely sucks. So let's get into that. So the game seemed to have a lot of potential at first. Sadly, I didn't get recordings of my first gameplay, but it has a really nice tutorial. The shop is cool, and overall the weapon selection and the whole ability thing is awesome. To revisit the tutorial for a second, I really want to give Riot Games credit because the tutorial was it was the right balance. It didn't hold my hand, but it also didn't push me into the unknown too fast where I was just totally lost in my first game. I think I did an amazing job. But the moment the first game started, well, let's just say it went downhill fast. Before I say anything else, I want to make it clear that this is a first impressions video, and that a lot of this is coming from someone who does not have much skill at the game. And I'm almost 100% sure that my lack of skill contributes a lot to these complaints, so keep that in mind. Let's talk about the movement speed first. Now this is coming from someone who plays Doom, which is a very fast-paced game, so I could be a little bit biased in saying this, but the movement speed is way too slow. Now, it can be solved if you hold a pistol or a knife, but the issue is there's no way to assign a hotkey that you can easily switch between them without using the scroll wheel or assigning them to like number keys, so you have to press two different keys to switch between them. But there's no way to, like, for example, press Q to automatically switch between your knife and your gun, which makes moving with the knife very frustrating because it's very difficult to kill people with a knife, and I'll get into that in the next part, right now, which is the abilities. Now the game has a lot of really fun gameplay aspects. For example, the whole stealth thing with walking and crouching for better aim. I think that was executed well, and if you take my previous tip, increase the movement speed, I think it could be perfected. But the abilities are way off, in my book at least, for me personally. They are not very balanced at all. They don't interact with each other at all either. To me, the simplest way that one player can interact with the usage of another player's abilities is by shooting whatever orb is making them totally blind temporarily until it disappears. And I've heard from the defense I heard from someone who likes the game a lot is they say that the thing that connects all the abilities together is that you have to plan out your usage of them. And while I can see how that works, it does not work well in gameplay. During the game, if someone throws a smoke bomb or one of those firewalls or something, there's not much I can do about it. For example, I normally use the hunter. He has like this arrow thing that basically shows people in your area. But if someone throws a smoke bomb down, there's nothing I can do except for shoot that smoke bomb and hope that they don't shoot me before I finish. What would be a really cool feature is that firing down the arrow would deactivate the smoke bomb. That would be a really cool interaction between me, the player, and the ability of another player. But those sorts of interactions aren't there. If someone throws an ability, you're basically stuck either having to live with that ability or not live at all. Either way, you will probably very quickly die. And that gets into my next part. Death. Now, I understand that probably didn't make this section sound very good, but this is going to be talking about how annoying dying is. And I know what you're thinking. Only a noob would call dying annoying and complain about it. And I have news for you, though. I am a noob. So I'm going to talk about how annoying dying is and complain about it. Alright. Dying happens too often. Now, when I move really slowly, this goes back to the walk speed thing, there's not a lot happening. And so when I see a player, I get really excited. That's like the one moment of action, the 1 or 2 moments of action I really get before the game is kind of basically over. But when I actually see that player, there's obviously basically a 50-50 chance that they'll kill me before I kill them. And when they kill me, especially if it's in the start of the game, it's over. And it's about a full minute of watching other people play the game, which for you non-gamers out there, for you losers who use the metric system instead of the gamer system, is basically an hour. And that's an hour in game time watching someone else play the game, and that is extremely irritating. The worst part though is that there's nothing interesting that happens during that time, and there's so much time I spend walking around that nothing interesting happens then either because of the walk speed. Just now in the recording, which I've tried my best to totally unedited to show you guys the pace of the gameplay, you can see that all I did was walk to a point, die, and then spend the next 1 or 2 minutes watching someone else play the game. I do not like this. When I play the game, I expect to be able to spend a lot of time in the game. In case you didn't notice, at the beginning of this recording, I was actually playing in the deathmatch mode, which I enjoyed much more. Because in the deathmatch mode, when I could respawn, I would learn from my mistakes, and I would actually improve myself based on them. Versus right now, when I would die, I would get frustrated, and then I'd have to wait a solid 1 or 2 minutes before I even had a chance to try improving on them. And it was hard to improve on my mistakes as well, because I'd get killed so quickly. Overall, my biggest beef, my biggest hamburger with this game is that the pacing is really bad. The combination of the total lack of action after you die, the movement speed, and how little the different features interact with each other overall makes the game feel slow and frustrating instead of fast and fun. Or fast and furious. Anyways, so I rate this game 3 out of 5 root beer cans. Let's give it a solid... I give it a solid C tier on the gamer tier list. And hopefully I will enjoy it more once I have played more. Bye. Yo, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Watch the videos that are on screen. You know, they're pretty cool. You'll probably like them. If you disagreed, if you agreed, either way, leave a comment. Tell me so that I can debate with you. Now, before you go, there's one thing that I need to tell you guys.